think he's trying to regenerate some of the enthusiasm for that point. Now that the war isn't going so well in the east and south, they haven't managed to recapture, the Ukrainians, any of the southern band of territory that the Russians took.
Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has said the Russian takeover of Ukraine's Donbas region is an unconditional priority for Moscow, indicating that the Russians have no intention of withdrawing anytime soon. Richard Spencer is the Times reporter in Ukraine. He's currently in Dnipro in central Ukraine, but he's been in the Donbas over the past week, and we can talk to him now. Hello, Richard.
Hello.
Really good to have you with us. I know you've been in the Donbas, which is now the focus of some pretty ferocious fighting. What was it like when you were there?
Yeah, no, a lot of unease in the towns there. Some civilians still living in the towns, actually in this pocket of territory that's almost surrounded by the Russians in the far east, in this Luhansk province, which is one half of the Donbas. Lots of fighting going on all the fronts all around there. Lots of sort of pushing and shoving on in either direction. Ukrainians pushing in one sector, and then the Russians pushing back in another sector. Huge amounts of artillery the Russians are bringing to bear. They have that's the one area where they have big superiority over the Ukrainians, and we felt that yesterday. We were in a town that came under shell fire. In that pocket of almost surrounded territory, shells going overhead. The locals, strangely unconcerned, but the Ukrainian soldiers are really getting a heavy taste of that.
Yeah, and we're hearing about heavy loss of life on both sides in that region.
Yeah, we're a little bit unsure on the numbers on either the Russian side and the Ukrainian side. We know that there was obviously a heavy loss of Russian life earlier in the conflict when they made those unsuccessful pushes in the north of the country and really came a cropper around Kiev. They've also been pushed back from Kharkiv, but they are making advances in the east. And as I say, the weight of artillery against the Ukrainian side means that there are undoubtedly heavy losses on the Ukrainian side too.
Well, President Zelensky was out touring Kharkiv yesterday, his first public appearance outside the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv, since the start of Russia's invasion. Tell us a bit more about this.
Yeah, so I think he's trying to sort of boost morale. He knows that after the initial Russian invasion, the Russians were held up around Kiev, and there was a lot of enthusiasm in Ukraine for the fact that the Ukrainian army had managed to hold up that massive Russian column around Kiev. And I think he's trying to regenerate some of the enthusiasm for that point. Now that the war isn't going so well in the east and south, they haven't managed to recapture, the Ukrainians, any of the southern band of territory that the Russians took. Any significant advances there for the Ukrainians, and they are losing ground slowly but surely up to this point in the Donbas. So the Kharkiv area is another area where the Ukrainians have had some success. It's the second city. It's a very big city, a couple of million population at the best. Outside wartime, it was almost surrounded. It was being heavily shelled by the Russians. Lots of civilian casualties there. And then the Ukrainians did manage to push the Russian army back from the edge of the city, back beyond the ring road, back towards the Russian border, which is only about 20 miles away. So I think Zelensky wanted to mark that success and say, look, here's another area where we have been winning a little bit. So that's a kind of a morale boost, I think, for some Ukrainians who are starting to have doubts about whether the Ukrainians really can be successful in this war.